All right, what's up, everybody? Got my good buddy Scott Schang here of Buywise Mortgage. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, JP?
You're my favorite hippie. If you listen to broker way back in the day, Scott's my favorite hippie.
Dude, 50-year-olds in today, those aren't hippies. We had hippies in my days. You guys did, well, you might have hippies now, but.
Well, what would you call yourself then?
All right, I'll take it.
Just take it.
Anything but late for dinner. Isn't that the line?
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, Scott's going to be at AIME Fuse virtual this year, next Friday, the 25th. He's going to be sitting on a panel. I'm going to read it, though. Establishing lucrative referral sources that last. It's a panel about getting leads the right way and good leads, right?
Yeah. No, well, it's funny. So I'm on there with Chastity, and then we've got Ernie's going to be there from HomeBot, and Ben Tierlink's going to be there
Cool.
from Mobility RE, I think. But it was really interesting because, we were talking about this, and this is being about referrals. Chastity and I were talking. We're both kind of small shops. We're not huge shops.
Yep.
Our intention is not to build our business huge during this thing. We're just trying to, we're in a business where we can make a comfortable living without killing ourselves. And right now, because of the way we've grown our business, all of our business is repeat and referral. We're not doing anything to get new business. Well, I say that, but it's not entirely true. The way that we get most of our clients, the way that we've always gotten most of our clients is high trust consumer direct marketing, right? And that's just one method. In talking to Chastity, she's going to share how she does it, but she does exactly the same thing that I did. And really what it is you're focusing on how you're building that relationship and how you're attracting the customer, and then what their experience is during that process. And when things are slow, it's really easy to focus on, communication, customer service, pre-framing the experience. When we get done with this, I'm going to ask you, my goal is to do a 5-star level of service. I'm going to ask you at the end if I did, and ask you if you have anybody you can refer. But right now, this is an interesting environment because it seems like there's two types of business models that are going on right now. You're either going out and you're getting a ton of refi business, in which case you're being inundated with rate shoppers. And rate shoppers are hard to build relationships with. You've really got to ratchet it up. So you lose that entire pre-relationship piece that attracts them to you because they're only looking for numbers. So what I would say, and what we're going to talk about, or what I'm going to share, is that you really have to focus on building that relationship right now. And I would be careful about shifting your entire business model 180 degrees to accommodate a shit ton of rate shoppers. That it's a death knell. It's they always say, when's the best time to plant a tree? And it was last year. Yeah. Right? If you want shade today, you need to plant that tree last year. So, if your business is not coming in from all referrals and past clients and referrals from past clients, I mean, Chastity and I were talking about this. We're afraid to even reach out to our past client database right now because they're all just pouring in.
Yep. And
we're afraid to do anything proactive because, poor Josh is he runs the show over there, and man, everybody's working,
yeah,
they're working so much right now. I mean, we're just slammed.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before. What I really respect about you guys is you haven't sold out over all these years from switching from what you are now as a true advisory-based brokerage, right? To just trying to get as many leads as we can, just throwing shit against the wall and see what happens. That's the trap right now. If you want to be a true advisor, the trap right now is getting away from that and just trying to go after the money and the low-hanging fruit and the rates and go. That's the trap right now. And you guys have not sold out, and you will not sell out from what you truly want to do with your business, which is being a true advisor. you've done this for years. Like you said, from the beginning, when you're all the smaller blogs that you've done, right? The big blog you've done.
Yeah.
You started there, and you have Find My Way Home, right? Is that?
Yep. Find My Way
right?
Home.
And just all the things you've done, the forbearance report that you came out with just earlier this year, like you're giving good knowledge, whether they use you or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving this knowledge, but they just seem to go to you anyway because you're advising correctly and people trust you.
Well, and here's another piece to that too, is when you share your experience and your knowledge, those of us that have been doing this for a long time, or those that are super passionate, I call it the guideline geeks versus the call center lenders, right? So some people just love guidelines and they love solving problems, and they'll solve a problem at all costs. When you do that for a customer, when you go above and beyond and create that experience, and kind of what's unique for us is that's what we do on our blog, is we solve problems. So we're out there getting out in front of bleeding necks and offering free bandages, and so when you earn your trust that way, what we really did, what we built, is we built our own referral engine, because I'm literally referring business to myself 24/7, 365 days a year, because I'm sharing all of these experiences with consumers online, anywhere that it's accessible. However you do it. I happen to do it on a WordPress blog. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, they're just almost subconsciously coming in, right? You're just putting it out there. It's pointed, but
it's definitely pointed.
Doing the right thing, and it's just coming back.
Well, and even an interesting experience, so a lot of people, they kind of see my story and they're like, well, yeah, you started this 13 years ago. If I had 13 years to work on something, maybe. But, a perfect example of this, because Josh and I are cut from the same cloth when it comes to this advisory role. We have a local referral partner that really started going gangbusters on YouTube. Like back in March, he just said, I'm going to master this. And he went from about 600 followers to now he's at about 7,000. So now Josh will jump on a live YouTube with him, and they'll just answer questions about mortgages. And then Josh will get calls all day, just constant calls coming in. Hey, I heard you talking about this stuff. And he's not out there talking about unrealistic stuff. If you know Josh, he's like, yeah, don't do that. You're going to get screwed if you do this, so he's like, he does it. There's no fluff in there. But still, that's driving him crazy, because even those people, because of this environment, those people are like, hey, I heard the rates are really low. And he's like, yeah, but it depends on your situation. So yeah, no, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this panel. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that, anybody that knows my history with HomeBot, all the referral partners that we've put into HomeBot, we are getting on a pretty regular basis, probably 3 to 7 refinance inquiries a week from the clients of our sponsored agents that we've never met these clients. So because we started that a year ago, because we planted that tree over a year ago with HomeBot, this low rate environment is putting us in touch with all of these referral partners. And quite frankly, we're not doing as good a job as we should of probably going out and being proactive with the referral partners. We're doing the best that we can, but we're still engaging with their clients, which gives us an excuse to have a conversation with them. So
that's awesome. Yeah, HomeBot's a great tool. We've been using that. We planted that last year, and we're seeing it now, and we get 3 or 4 to 5 just new leads coming in each week just from that. It's such a great tool. So I'm looking forward to talk with them on the panel as well. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you next week, man. Always love connecting with my favorite mortgage hippie.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, I'll see you next Friday, Scott.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right, later.
See everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We have Jamie Cavanaugh here from AmeriFund. She'll be at Fuse Virtual this year, and she'll be sitting on the Women's Mortgage Network panel. Correct, Jamie?
That is correct.
Are you excited or what?
I am so excited to be on this panel. This is awesome. This particular group is like super near and dear to my heart. Women's Mortgage Network is one of our AIME subgroups, and it's something that has grown huge over just the last 6 months or so. Super, super huge. So we had this amazing event right before the Activate event in March in Irvine. So there were I think there were less than 30 of us in the room. And it was a whole day of a bunch of female leaders led by Laura Brandow and Katie Sweeney. We got together and we talked about what we wanted this group to be. And we talked about our goals and what we wanted to accomplish and how we wanted to grow it. And our goal was to have 2,000 members by 2021.
Nice. How many do we have now?
1.7.
All right. So listen up. We need 300.
Right there during a pandemic.
I know. Right.
Like, this is nuts. So, and of that, we hit the 1,000 mark like 30 days ago. So for us to have hit that mark and then be almost doubled in this short period of time was nuts. And we couldn't be more pleased about it. So the group itself is largely based in Facebook, just like our Brokers Are Better group is.
Cool.
And it's really just a place for female mortgage and realtor based leaders and, you know, realtors and loan officers and even people who are, you know, in ops to come and get support. You know, every level. You're just starting out. You need to know where to begin. You're not just starting out. You've been in the business for a while. You know, you got the same struggles that we all have, and you just need a place to come and be among others who share those same struggles and share those wins and just have that level of camaraderie.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you guys are much smarter than us men. So like, we kind of need this anyway, and it's been long overdue. We can agree with that, right?
For sure. So what I'm excited about with the panel is that we're going to be talking about leveraging your authentic voice. And I think that that's something that any woman who's been in the industry for any length of time can kind of appreciate. There have been times where I think we can all agree that, you know, coming up in the business, I've been in the business 23 years. It's been a really long road, right? And I mean, I was an executive when I was 23 years old. So you can imagine being in the corporate world in your 20s, not a lot of people were listening. You know, whether I had value or not, nobody was really listening. And when you're sitting in a boardroom full of, you know, older people, a lot of men, nobody thinks you have anything to say. And so there were so many times when I didn't leverage my voice, when I didn't speak. And over the years, I've learned how to do that. And we'll be talking so much about that on the Fuse panel. So many great women with me on the panel that are going to be speaking to our experiences. And I think for us, it's not just about our experiences, but it's also about empowering other women who are coming up in the business to give them some of the tools and the tips and the tricks that have helped us along the way. And so that's really what our group is all about. And it's what we're here to do is really to empower each other and to help those that are coming up in the business.
That's awesome. Very well put. Who else is on the panel again?
Women's Mortgage Network Fuse panel is going to be Katie Sweeney. We've got Skylar Welch. We've got Isabel Williams. We've got let's see who else we have here.
Hold up.
I'm on 2 panels, man.
I love it. Same here.
Yeah. So we've got some super strong women, and I'm beyond honored to even be among these people. So I was super stoked to be asked, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to hear their stories. I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. Could you also tell us a little bit about your role at AmeriFund as well?
Sure.
And how long you've been there? Just give us a quick background.
Sure, absolutely. So my partner in AmeriFund, Brad Rice, and I go back about 20 years. We had a company back before the crash. It was a large wholesale lender. We were in 43 states. We had every product you can imagine, and as you can also imagine, we were on the mortgage implodometer when things went south. So I ran ops for that organization. Okay. And then went into executive management in the corporate world. And about 6 years ago, Brad and I kind of, being that we stayed friends so long, kind of came back together. And he's like, I think I want to start something, but I just want to be a broker. Let's not do all the overhead and all the other stuff we did with trying to be a direct lender. I'm like, you know, that fits really well with where I'm at in life too. let's do this. So we did, and we just started scaling, and Brad has a tech startup, so he does that. And I basically run the day-to-day of Amerifriend from soup to nuts, and from sales to ops to everything. And I am also a licensed originator and have been, but most of my origination goes to my in-house loan officers. They support our book of business. So for me, my title is COO, but I'm basically running the show here. And my whole reason for AIME being, not only is AIME so meaningful to me, but the reason brokers are better means so much to me is because I've been on the other side of this. And I can tell you that brokers are better because I've been on the other side, and I choose to be a broker. I choose to be a broker for so many reasons. And I can tell you that the broker world is the one I've chosen to be in. And so it's definitely the one I'll be in forever.
That's awesome. And then one last question. You've been in the business, you said 23 years?
Yeah.
I mean, how much progress have, like for women, right? How far has it come in these years? Has it come a lot? Obviously, there's got a lot of more work to be done, but how far has it come since you started?
It's a different world. It's a completely different world today than it was even 10 years ago. There is just a difference in the way that we are perceived and heard today. Those that are now coming into the industry already have some inherent credibility and ability to be heard and have a voice that simply did not exist 15, 20 years ago. And I'm really grateful for that. But to your point, it certainly isn't over. There's certainly more work to be done. And so I know that myself and a lot of my fellow leaders are committed to continuing that and to making sure that those women that are in there today, establishing themselves as leaders, are going to continue to have the support, because we have to keep our voices heard. We have to keep pushing forward and becoming even more of a force in establishing ourselves in this business as equals.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very well put. Have you seen the new platform yet for
I'm already in. Are you kidding me?
I just got it this morning. Looks
oh
awesome.
My gosh, it is so cool. You got to check it out. I've already got my connect with me, you guys. I'm already in. I'm already
the first one I connect with then.
Connect. I'm already in. I've already been sending private messages and stuff to some of my friends, and it looks next level. I mean, I can't even believe this is nothing. This is not your typical Zoom, boring virtual event. This is something like I've never seen before, and I'm super excited to be part of it.
Yeah, it's a cool studio. I mean, you're going to be a movie star, Jamie. This is what it is.
You are too. Are we like famous now?
Yes,
I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, right? A week from today. I'll probably see you.
It's going down.
All right, cool.
Excited.
Well, thanks for doing this for us, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Later, Jamie.
Bye.
Hi. What's up, everybody? Got my buddy Nathan Knottingham, partner in Vetted VA, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. You're going to be at AIME Fuse Virtual next week,
Yes.
starting on Friday, the 25th, I think at this point. Yep. 25th.
Yep.
And you're going to be on the panel talking about serving those who've served us. And it's
absolutely
specific panel. With Vetted VA. I know I've known Chris for a while, good friend of mine. It's really cool that you're a partner with him with Vetted VA. It's a really, really cool group. The way that exploded in such a short time is really cool. And like we know, you guys are doing the right thing. Right before we spoke, we talked about VA loans and how there's times where vets an active duty can be taken advantage of, right?
Right.
So this is a really great group to do it the right way. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Absolutely. So Chris and I, we met a year and a half ago, and I just could tell the guy's passionate, right? He just evokes passion about what he feels and what's going on. And I was in training and doing training for the mortgage industry. And so we kind of got together and put our heads together. And it wasn't until the beginning of this year when I made a transition and decided, I'm going to go all in on this. We started building up this dream he had. It became more from a Facebook group to, okay, how are we going to actually put arms around this? How are we going to turn this more from, hey, here's just a private group, to provide real human-sourced intelligence, no solicitation, no cussing. We're going to treat you fairly. And move it to accountability, because that's the next step, right? So You have all these bankers that were actually doing some pretty nasty things, churning loans just time and time again. We saw the writing on the wall, but nobody was stopping it. And how does the VA stop it? Well, they don't actually stop the lender. They penalize the veteran by saying, now we're going to charge you more funding fees.
Yeah, right.
It's like, how's that work? So what we want to do is change the industry. Well, how do you change an industry? You either change two things. You re-regulate the industry, or you change the demand from the industry. And the initial thing is, yeah, let's go re-regulate it, right? Because that's just high-level conversations. But honestly, man, JP, when you have regulation, what is your first instinct with a new rule? How can I get around it? Yeah. How do I have to not pay attention to it? How can I legally or ethically play in the gray and not necessarily go straight through it? Mm-hmm. All right, but what else do we change? What if we change supply and demand? What if we actually change the heart going into the demand for the VA loan product and what people understand about it? Well, that just became the aha moment. All right, let's just make this group. So we're actually going to be at AIME Fuse, and I'm really excited about this. Chris, myself, we're bringing 3 vetted professionals with us. Glenn Groves from GTG is going to be on our panel. Sam Rubin, who's actually a realtor out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She is also a veteran, Army, I believe, and she's dynamic. And then Isabel Williams, also an Army veteran, but out of Florida. So we kind of took the U.S. We said these 3 are going to come speak about their positions, right, and what they do and what it means to them. Because we want to talk to professionals here. But we're also always talking consumer first. We're always talking to the veteran. We're always saying, look, you deserve the best service, but here's how you're going to get the best service. By trusting, right? You trust our professional. You pick the professional, but verify what they're telling you. And that's how we're actually making the transitions. Yeah, we've grown crazy, right? Our private Facebook group, the Vetted VA group, has over 17,500 members in it now. Cool. We are actively monitoring that. We've come up with great ways. We're going to talk about this at the conference. We're going to talk about how about building the group, what's that meant, initiating squads, vetting professionals, what that looks like. And we'll finish with Christopher Griffith talking about, well, frankly, why we're very selective on who comes in and why.
Yeah. How many vetted professionals do you guys have now?
We're topping 80 at the moment. Good. And I will tell you, we're getting broken off. Like, there's just, the demand keeps growing. We need more and more vetted professionals. But I'll be really honest with you, man. I know you talked to Chris about this too. The testing we put the professionals through, they come in and go, hey, we know this. We know what's going on. We're going to talk about this at the conference on our panel at Fuse. But realtor or loan officer alike, they go through the same initial testing. 6 tests. Each test takes about an hour and a half. There's no videos to watch. There's no, like, we're not telling you what we think you should know about the rules. We're saying, here's the handbook. Here's the test. It's open book. Go pass. Do you know what our failure rate is first time out of the gate?
I'd love to know.
67%.
Wow.
Professionals can't pass an open book test. Why is that? It's because they're putting in what they think they know into the system. Mm-hmm. And they're not actually reading the black and white and saying, no, the handbook says this. And we do that because that's your number one point. That's your number one defensive weapon when you are actually trying to fight for a veteran in their loan. And we put the realtors and the loan officers through the exact same tests. So when they come through and they jump into moderating and they actually get access to the group to moderate, they're on our map on vettedva.com. They've actually gone through all the testing together. They know it. They speak the same language. And I got a story a couple days ago. One of our vetted professionals was going through the testing. He's kind of dragging his feet, right? It takes time. We're asking you to come in. We're asking you to give us your time, which is very, very hard to carve off any time right now in this market. Mm-hmm. And we're saying, now do this. He said he was finishing his testing for the second rank, and he's in his last side of testing, and he came across 2 questions that answered 3 different points on a file that he was having trouble getting through underwriting.
Wow.
He went, oh my gosh, that's my answer. He took that answer from the handbook that he was being forced to read, went to the underwriter, said, this is why you're wrong. This is how you're supposed to handle it. This is what we need to do. The underwriter double-checked what he said, was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Got the loan closed. I mean,
so
that was...
Us going through this has directly impacted helping a vet get a loan just by doing the testing. Yeah,
and I'm not saying what I think I know anymore. It's not tribal knowledge. I'm going straight to the book. Nobody can argue the book. The VA wrote the book. That's who's writing the guideline. Yeah, that's
great, man. And like I was saying, I mean, I'll be the guinea pig here, right? Chris came and said, let's work on getting vetted when this was going through, and I said, hey, listen, man, I don't think I'm ready. I've never been a VA guru. Yes, we've done them. We go through it, but it's not my main business. I don't feel comfortable doing this yet because I know the not restrictions, but the rules and how much faith you guys have in this. I didn't want to do that quite yet. So that was the reasoning. Don't beat me up, Chris, but that's the reasoning. My beard's
actually
still better,
there's no
Chris.
beats up. There's just extra pats on the back for that. You got to know where you're starting from, right? If you jump in there and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be great," and you think, I had a conversation with a professional last week, and they said to me, "Well, why would I actually join this group, pay some onboarding money to just moderate, watch for curse words and turn off solicitations?" I was like, "Well, you're not ready for us. You don't understand what it is we're doing here. We're providing higher levels of insight, accountability, structure." And I have more and more veterans who are now coming back and saying, "I can't believe I didn't find this group just now. I wish I'd found it earlier. Thank you for everything you're giving us." Because, man, I'm seeing LEs all the time, and we're not saying that's a bad LE. We're saying, here's what you need to know about this loan estimate. Here's what you need to know about this fee you're being charged. And it's only information all the time. That's making a difference. But it got to a point where we actually had to transition and move professionals out of the group because the solicitation was just, it's ridiculous, JP. It was like, people would go, "Well, where are you at?" And if somebody said, "I'm in Texas," they'd go, "I'm in Texas too. You should call me or call my buddy." And we're like, out, boot. Man, we were booting professionals left and right. And so we actually started a professional support group. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've heard it. Out.
We can't
do it, man. I love it, man. Well, I mean, it goes to show if you guys have 80 vetted professionals right now, but with a group of over 17,000, consumers and vets and a bunch, I mean, that obviously just the margin right there shows you.
Anybody in a Facebook group, they know they're looking at a couple different engagement pieces, right? So we got over 17,000 members on a weekly basis. 14,000 members are engaging on our page. So it's not just a one-off. We're not like, "Oh, look at all these members we have, and only 10 of them show up." No. It's all the time, all the time. And so we're getting broken off. We are actively looking to draft more professionals in here. But it is not just a, "Hey, I'm willing to write a check," or "Here, I'll pass a test." It's a heart and mind attitude issue, right? You got to come in wanting to serve, wanting to say, "I'm expect nothing from the 10 minutes I'm about to spend answering this one question for the 1,000th time that I've answered that question."
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to get nothing from it. And when they come in with that mentality, I will tell you the ancillary, the consequence to that choice is so positive, they will finally find themselves broken off with more and more business. But it comes down the road. It's not an immediate.
That's awesome. Well put, man. Yo, I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely.
On Friday next week, man. I'll see you there. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here today.
Cool. Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, buddy.